Hello Internet, so nice to see you. A chord progression is not a song. A song is of course much more than just a chord progression. But how do we go from chord progression to song? How do we arrange a chord progression so that it becomes more and more song-like and more interesting than just strumming a few chords? Well, a student some time ago asked me exactly that, and during the lesson we went through several tricks, including adding pedal points, writing melodies on top, superimposing different voicing of the chord, and in a moment I'm going to show them to you so that you can learn them too and you can follow along and learn how to arrange a chord progression. If you want to know much more about all that, I have a lot more tricks in my course, Complete Chord Mastery, which I recommend you guys to check out, where we take chord progression and we arrange them to become more song-like and more useful for real-life music. But let's go and see some of those tricks.
So I have this chord progression and I want to harmonize it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I need to take out the third and the fifth, and I want to see what I can do with another guitar layer on it.
Very good. Okay, can you play the chord progression for me? So we have D minor. Okay. Very good. Do you know what chords you're playing?
I think D minor, then
Yes.
I let the F sharp loose, then it's something with D/A, and then it's a fancy G chord, but I don't know the last one. But I know it sounds good, so...
Okay, see, that's something. So we need to find out more or less what you're doing. So you're correct. The first chord is D minor.
Yes.
Pretty much in the standard position, so no
Yes.
problem. The second chord you're playing is a D minor sus2.
Yes.
Okay, we can entertain the idea of changing the bass, but I like it as it is, okay?
Uh-huh.
The next chord is D that you're playing,
Yes.
right? With a bass of D, right?
Yes.
So that's a G minor,
Uh-huh.
with a bass of D.
Yeah.
Okay.
To add extra flavor in it.
Exactly. So right now you have kind of this pedal point in D, because meaning that you're holding this D note all the time, which is good, right?
So I can even drop it and drop D later on if I
You
want.
could drop it exactly. That was the next suggestion. You drop it in, you play it in drop D, so you have always the lower string tuned in D, which I'm not going to do right now because I have a floating bridge. It's going to be a problem to do that. And the last chord you're playing D. You're holding the bass of D even on the last chord.
Yes.
Okay, so that's an A major with a bass of D. It's a very dissonant chord, but it works because you kept this D note at the bass for the whole thing. So you have a pedal note of D all the way throughout. If I were to take out the pedal, the progression will start moving forward in a sense, meaning that... Makes sense. I mean, it's legit.
Yeah.
You can do it either way. And by the way, you can do it both ways in the same song.
Uh-huh.
So what many composers, songwriters do right now is that they play in the intro they play everything with the pedal note, or in the verse they play everything with the pedal note. So okay, and this D it's kind of symbolic of you being stuck in the same position. No? There is movement, but by and large you're always here. And then later,
yes, the chord chords.
okay. So the first D minor is still D minor, and you can play it now. Very good. The next D minor, I'm taking off this index finger, but since I'm there, I'm putting this index finger on the F. I actually like to change completely the fingering because it's easier for me, but now it's a D minor sus2 with a bass of F, or it's a D minor in first inversion with an add 9, whatever you want to call it. Okay, it's really not a problem. But it moves, no? It's not in the same position as before. And you just play the G minor, but I'm playing with a bass of G. That's why I'm doing just a bar, and I'm playing only the strings 6, 3, 2, and 1. Exactly, so it's a G minor. And then for A, I'm playing the open A string, so it's just a standard A. Okay. The thing is, if I started playing these, It sounds cool, it's okay, there is no problem, but it's just, again, the usual standard 1, 4, 5 in a key. But since you start playing the pedal point, then it becomes special, because you created this kind of expectation, and the thing was moving, the chord progression was moving, but it was fixed in the same place because you were playing this D over and over, and then you change the bass following the chord progression, and the chord progression has a much bigger emotional impact. Make sense so far?
Yes, and I was thinking already ahead, so what if I added piano on the next layer? With the
It's
same
great.
bass?
And you can add any layer, piano, strings, whatever. It depends where you want to go with the song.
Okay.
But right now, just from the standpoint of harmony, that's what's happening. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we want to harmonize these chord progressions. We want a second guitar part, essentially.
Yes,
Fantastic.
exactly that.
The first thing that comes to my mind in this case is that you have two main possibilities. Possibility number one is distorted guitar playing a high melody,
Yes.
but like one note per chord. So it feels like it's part of the background, not a solo in the foreground, okay? It's like a very high note, so for instance, you play D minor. Okay, you probably can't hear that. So what we're going to do is that you play the chord progression, and I'm showing you, and then play the melody so you can hear it, then I'll teach it to you.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, it sounds.
So what I'm doing is, I'm playing the F on the D minor.
Yeah.
It's the third. The third is always a safe bet, okay? When you do the sus4, sus2, sorry, I'm following you, so I'm playing the E note.
Yes.
So we're moving together. Then you play the D, the G minor. What am I saying today? And I'm playing the D note, which is the fifth. And just because I created this movement, I just keep going. Okay. Whenever you create a movement in some direction, going up or going down, your first choice is always, let's keep going with the movement and let's see if I land on a right note. And if you do, this typically sounds good. Okay, so in this case, D, it's a note of G minor, whether you play in one way or another. So it works. And then when you go to A, I keep going in the same direction and I hit a C sharp that works with the A you are playing.
Yes.
Makes sense? Then at the end, I just use a little flourish on the final note of D. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so that's possibility number one. High guitar, possibly distorted, not right now, I don't have any distortion, but single note, okay, so that it creates this kind of extra stratospheric level of melody. Make sense?
Yes, makes sense.
Idea number two, play the same chord you're playing down here, just find an inversion that works up here. So you have the D minor.
Yes.
We could start from here. And you're playing the D sus2, which you get by taking the F note and lowering it. So it will sound this way, which again. Okay. Then you're going to have the G minor. Then you're going to choose to go up or down. I will go up, so. And you're going to have the A. Okay, so now you play again, and I play this. Okay? And of course, you can always, and the second time, you go the other direction, essentially. Or something like that. So you can always move up and down freely. That's what I will do to harmonize all these. Now, whether you bring this layer, you use all these layers and you bring them one at a time. Or you bring in one and then take one out and you bring another one in. Or you bring them in all together and then take them out all together. That's completely up to you, depending on what kind of story you want to tell with your song.
That's another thing to think about.
Yes. But that's a thing that would be hard to explain in words. And the best thing to do this is you record everything on your computer on a different track and you try muting and unmuting all those tracks.
Okay. Yeah.
and you start hearing how they sound. Then you copy those parts so that they maybe you start thin, you go thick, and you move on different tracks, and try to build up this thing. And so you also can hear how much repetition do you want, and if you need a different section somewhere.
Yep.
Okay? But there are many things to do it, and the best way is to just record this progression once or twice, and then just copy everything.
And then loop everything. Yes.
Yes. Once you have an idea on what thing happens and where do the part come in and out, you can always mute the track and create another one and record and genuinely record the track rather than just looping it, which is going to sound better if you record the whole thing. But the looping is just to sketch where things go.
Yep.
Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Fantastic.
Thank you,
Nigel.
Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, always a pleasure too.